Now we are ready to go, and I'll be using the space bar, so I'll probably make that flub again. We are here. Does everybody have the packet that Controller General has passed out? It should be. It's a one page, starts ahead of it is section 1 on hold. At the very top, it says section. Do you have that?
They don't have that.
Oh,
They have
okay.
all this stuff, okay?
So, okay, you have the full pages there then, when you have, you should be starting with 7A. Mike's going to tell you where to be. All right, and we'll go through with that all the way through. Mike will bring us to the right page. Okay, Mike?
Okay, welcome to JFC members. We are going to try and do this as best we can. I have a script here to walk through and hopefully get you out of here in a reasonable time today. You should have been handed out a relatively thick sheet of papers that should be divided into 4 sections. We will get to them in a little bit, but first we need to go through in the book and vote in the remaining section 1 numbers that we have. So if you would turn to your CGO markup adjustment tab, page 5. We have not yet voted in the Office of Management and Budget, and we're going to do that now. And I will turn it over to Jason.
Good afternoon, committee. As Controller General Morton stated, we are on the Office of Management and Budget, Department 10-0200, and that will be on page 5. Looking towards the top of the document, you'll see that the FY21 GRB is $161,028,300, and they have an ASF appropriation of $77,052,500. The personnel contingency is obviously still there, and then as you look through this document, you'll see that the first 4 requests are still there. That would be for the closed state police pension plan, the annualization of the Troop 7 operating costs, the Delaware State Police firing range maintenance, and then police escalators. The first item that you'll see, which is an enhancement reduction, is under technology requirements. That's $4,800. The next item that is an enhancement reduction is for $146,300 for a computer 4-year computer replacement cycle. The ASF spending authority is remaining. And then as we look down here towards the bottom of page 5, these other adjustments reflect the discussions that Director Jackson had with the committee on Tuesday. There will be the changes to the salary and other employment costs, the reallocation of funding for the changes to the fiscal 21 salary plan. And then there's also a $5 million reduction down there at the very bottom for contingency personnel costs. And I'm sorry, I just realized I didn't reiterate the $55,253 or $55,253,900 reduction there for the fiscal year 21 salary costs. That takes us to page 6, the next page. The first 2 items here were from GRB documents that you saw in February. They are still remaining. That would be for the Elder Tax Relief and Education Expense Fund, as well as a reduction for seed scholarship expansion. The next item here that you see, healthcare services contingency, there is a reduction of $1.6 million. This is to reflect now known costs related to the Department of Corrections healthcare contract. And then the $180,000 reallocation of contractual service funding still remains, as well as the $2 million reallocation to the Department of Technology is also still remaining. That brings the total overall budget for the Office of Management budget for a general fund appropriation $99,023,300 and an ASF appropriation of $77,52,500. That is the total review for the budget summary for the Office of Management and Budget. There is one more item down here at the bottom, which you'll notice as an additional one-time supplemental item. I know Director Jackson has talked about this as well. This would be $675,000 for additional funding for the self-insurance legal fees line in the Office of Management and Budget. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the Office of Management and Budget review of the budget summary.
Thank you, Jason. Mr. Co-Chair, can we make a motion out of that?
Yes, sir. I make a motion for the Office of Management and Budget, Section 10-0200, that we approve Section 1 as amended by the Comptroller General's Office markup document that reflects $77,052,500 in ASF authority, $99,023,300 in general fund authority, and the one-time appropriation of $675,000. End of motion.
Second. All right, we have a motion made and seconded. Did we get the second? Motion made and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? Representative Jakes.
Thank you. I would like to know from the Director of O&B, why the 1.6 million out of healthcare services? What's that all about?
Representative, we had set aside a contingency in our budget in anticipation of a competitive bid process for the inmate medical as well as the behavioral health contract within the Department of Corrections. At the time we set this budget, we did not have that information available. And what you see is a reduction from that contingency to reflect what the actual increased costs are going to be.
Thank you.
All right. Any further questions on the motion? Briggs King?
Thank you. Just to follow up to that. So that was the result of where we split off last year in corrections, where formerly we're only been one provider that had been able to bid. And so we actually did better for a lot of reasons.
Yes, we did.
A second question, if I may, and that pertains to the part of the language that's talking about proposed increases in collective bargaining and so forth, that section. That is for all step increases, all collective bargaining. So there's not going to be one agency or one group of employees that's going to be treated different. This is across the board.
That is correct.
So, all right, I just wanted to make sure, because I know some are up for bargaining, some have agreements that are going to sort of be on hold because of the financial. So I just wanted to make sure that it's consistent and fair for everyone. Thank you.
Any further questions on the motion before? Seeing none. Lonnie, can we have a roll call?
Representative Bolden? Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Yes. Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Yes. Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon? Senator Sturgeon, yes. Senator Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Record should reflect that passed unanimously. Mike, you're up.
Okay, that's all for numbers for now. The only one we have left is the University of Delaware, and we will do that after our 2 o'clock discussion today. So if you could you turn to the packets that were handed out earlier? On the very top, it should read, the first packet should be Section 8, your merit system and merit comparable salary schedules. Section 8, yes, there should be, I believe, 21 pages. Replaces what is in the governor's recommended budget. It outlines the salary schedules for the upcoming fiscal year. And I'll just page through a couple places and then highlight the significant points of it. Pages 2 and 3 show the salary plans for merit employees for 37.5-hour work week and a 40-hour work week. You see they are unchanged. That means they are exactly the same as FY20. There is no pay raise. As you go through there on pages 4 and 5, there is a list of the classes of job positions that are 40-hour work weeks. There are several that have been added over the past or for the upcoming fiscal year, and that's just based on annual reviews we do of position classifications. So they have been added based on what they actually work. And then based on the vote you just took to significantly reduce the salary line, the salary contingency in O&B, which basically got rid of the proposed 2% pay raise. If you look on page 8, in the middle of the page, line 14, you'll start with a subsection there, salaries for fiscal year 2021. You will see much of that is crossed out at the beginning of that section. That is deleting the proposed pay raise. Yes.
I don't have page 8.
You don't.
Anybody else missing page 8?
Oh. Okay, if you're following with me, then on page 8, in the middle of the page, line 14, there's subsection C, salaries for fiscal year 2021. Again, much of the rest of that page is struck through, meaning the proposed FY21 salary policy is no longer in the budget. Further, if you go on to page 9, again on line 14, it shows statutory step increases for 14 Delaware Code Chapter 13. Those are all the education employees shall be suspended for fiscal year 2021. Likewise, further increase for DOE employees shall be suspended for fiscal year 2021. Subsection 3 there, you do the same thing. Steps are suspended for Del Tech employees. Line 19, DOJ and Office of Defense Services, their steps are suspended. Under 4, the, I'm not reading it. And then any other salary matrices which aren't enumerated here, but which are out in the job description and the pay tables, they will also remain the same as fiscal year 2020 amounts, meaning no step increases. On page 10, it gets into the negotiated and collective bargaining increases. You see on line 11, again, all these collective bargaining agreements, their proposed wage increases that they had bargained that were to be effective July 1st of 2020 shall be suspended and will remain the same as fiscal year 2020. And then further on down through subsection 8, again, collective bargaining agreements under 19 Delaware Code shall be suspended for fiscal year 2021. Salaries will remain the same as fiscal year 2020. And steps will remain at their 2020 levels and shall be suspended for fiscal year 2021. So long and short of all this is saying that all the collective bargaining agreements are on pause. There are the negotiated wage increases that were to take effect are suspended, as are any step increases that they would have been eligible for, as well as all employees of Del Tech, DOE employees, and public education employees.
All right, Mr. Co-Chair.
Motion first and then question.
Let's get a motion before us, if we can.
I make a motion that we approve Section 8 merit system and merit comparable salary schedules that range from page 1 all the way through page 21 as written and presented. Motion.
Second.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded. We have question on the motion.
Yes, sir. Earlier discussion on this very subject about step increases. And the comment was made, if money available, that it would be reinstituted. That does not
Yes.
address this.
That's coming. That'll be coming up later, Senator Lawson.
I'll wait. Thank you.
Any further questions on the motion before us? Representative Hall?
Okay. My question is regarding the negotiation with the unions. Was this negotiated that they agree with this as it sits here now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Prior to us voting on this.
Prior to us voting on this, we have had discussions. My office and the Office of Management and Budget have had discussions with all the various union leaders.
Thank you.
Any further questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those, seeing then can we have a roll call, Lonnie?
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that was passed unanimously. Mike Martin?
Okay, next up in your packet, Senator Lawson, we have one interim step to take before we get to your issue. Next in your packet should be section 10. These are your line item salaries, which lay out what the salaries are for the legislature, judiciary, and the various department heads throughout the state and their deputy directors. You will see that there are no cross outs or underlines, meaning it is the same salary as is in effect in FY20, meaning no changes to their salaries, no salary increase.
Mr. Coach?
Section 10. Yep. I make a motion under the general tab for section 10 that we approve that section as written and presented, which ranges from page 1 through page 9. And the motion.
Second.
It's been moved. Comment on the motion or question? Mike Martin, have a
Yeah.
comment?
I would say there is one change from prior years I want to make note of on page 8. Subsection 6 there at the top. What has previously happened in prior years is that when these positions are periodically reviewed throughout the year or throughout the years, and in past years, what has happened is if they were due a salary increase, we were unable to change it until the next fiscal year when the budget was written. This language here would allow for those critical reclass that take during the court that take effect or are approved during the course of a year can take effect during that year instead of having to wait a full budget cycle before they become effective. So that is what is underlined there at the top of page 8. I just want to make you aware of that change. That's the only significant change to the proposed epilogue.
Are there any further questions on the motion before us? Seeing none, Lonnie, would you please?
Representative Bolden? Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis? Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that that is passed unanimously.
Okay, next up, you should have a third packet. And it should read at the top, new epilogue CBA trigger, page 7A. Okay, what this does here, subsection A says that beginning with the 2020 December DFAC meeting and with each DFAC meeting thereafter, if at some point during those meetings, the official revenue estimate is $50 million or more, greater than the revenue estimates that we do in June as part of our revenue resolutions. Once that $50 million is hit, it indicates that is the intent of the General Assembly that this body will reconvene, do a supplemental appropriation to go back and fund all the collective bargaining agreements based on their original negotiations effective back to June or July 1st, 2020, as well as implement all of the educational and other steps that employees are eligible for, also retroactive back to July 1st, 2020. Subsection B indicates that for those employees that if they should retire during the next fiscal year, that if we come back and refund the CBA agreements to what they should have been as of July 1st without this suspension or hold, that we will recalculate their final average compensation. So the new salaries that they should have been getting will be included in the calculation of their pension. So they will be made whole at some point in time. And finally, subsection C, there were negotiations that were going on at the beginning or at the onset of the COVID-19 problem that we've had. They were paused at the time, given the revenue situation that we were undergoing. This says that they can resume, and should they result in additional contract negotiations or increases, that they will also be subject to the same trigger of the $50 million in subsection A.
All right. Everybody be careful that this trigger is a hair trigger. So, Mr. Co-Chairman, can you do it?
Yes, sir. I make a motion that the new epilogue titled CBA trigger, which is identified as section XXX, be approved, voted on as written and presented. And a motion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion?
Question.
Question. Where is it? Oh, Senator Bolden, Representative Bolden, I'm sorry. Oh, that's cleaner. I can't.
Okay, now?
That's good.
Mike, can you just explain to me again in reference to the trigger, will this be, should we have to go back in, should we go get more than this 50? Does that mean it would be retroactive?
Yes,
If we go in and put in, they would be retroactive
to July 1st of 2020. That is correct.
through July 1st? Okay, that's, I just want to make sure I understood the explanation. Thank you.
Mike, you have, Senator Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Question on the retirees. If a person is retiring in the middle of the year, 21, then they don't get any consideration unless we go back in and revisit?
That is correct. And the way this is written is for that 1 year, because if we still have not reinstated the CBAs, we'll be having the same discussion next year, probably with similar epilogue language, to go back and retroactively fund the CBAs. Now, I would also argue that it would be wise of us to fund this as early as possible, because the longer we go, the bigger the bill becomes when we want to make it retroactive. I don't want to speak on behalf of the administration or the office manager of the budget, but it becomes a bigger door opener the longer we wait.
So the retirees will be made whole regardless of their retirement.
That is correct. That is my assumption, that if we don't have anything done by next June 30th, we'll end up having the same epilogue language, which would be retroactive again back to July 1st, 2020.
Thank you very much.
Senator Sturgeon on the Zoom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, gosh. Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna ask. So I'm looking at the documents that were emailed to me. I don't have, physical packets in front of me, so I have my laptop open with those emails. But the way the documents are being referred to does not correspond to the way the documents are titled in the email. So it's really hard. There was about 4 emails with 4 different documents, and I'm toggling back and forth from one to the other, trying to find the one we are about to vote on. And I don't really feel comfortable voting without, having it in front of me. So I was wondering if there was a way to identify what we're voting on, if it came via email today, in a way that's easier for me to find it. I still haven't found this one.
Yes, Senator
Sorry,
Sturgeon, in the file name,
but yeah.
in the file name, it should indicate final with the date of today of 6/4/20.
Perfect. And if you could do that each time, give us the file name, that would make it so much easier. Thank you so much. Okay, no problem.
And Senator, from here on out, we will be going in the order of that packet that you now have open in front of you. Okay?
Perfect. Okay, thanks.
Senator Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I may have missed it. When will this be reevaluated? Just one time, or
No, will be reevaluated the first time at the DFAC meeting in December, and then March, April, May, and June thereafter. Okay. Every time DFAC meets.
Okay, thank you. But the first time will be in December.
That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Any further questions on the motion before us? Seeing none, Lonnie, would you call the roll?
Representative Bolden. Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King.
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson. Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis.
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley.
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes.
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson. Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee.
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson.
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon.
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell.
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that passed unanimously. Right?
Okay, next up, next in your packet there should be page 116A. This deals with tobacco funding and indicates that interest earnings on the Tobacco Master Settlement Fund can be used for the Innovation Fund for pilot health projects. This, I believe, is the first year, Victoria, where we appropriated money through the Tobacco Fund for the Innovation Fund. So this allows them to use additional interest to keep the pilot projects moving forward. Excuse me, second year has been funded. You want to do a few, Senator? Okay. We'll do a few here and then take a vote. The next one should be 117A. This appropriates $290,000, and this is not new money. This will be money that will be transferred from the University of Delaware. The line will now be housed in my office. So we are appropriating $290,000 to the Foundation for Renewable Energy and Environment. These funds will be used for research supervised by Dr. John Byrne with subordinate investigators and including subcontractors. And this is language which has appeared in the past several epilogue sections of the University of Delaware, now being moved to my office with no change. Page 124A memorializes the various one-times that we have voted in section 1. Just saying that because we appropriate them to the Office of Management and Budget in the one-time list, that this now transfers those funds out to the individual departments. No change from what you've already voted in section 1. Section 1 or page 127 A deals with changes with the State Clearinghouse Committee. This is the committee which reviews and approves federal grants. Given the COVID situation that we've had some emergency meetings over the past couple months to allow us to accept and start spending federal grants, given the stimulus funding that has come from the federal government. So this allows us to meet virtually and also advertise those meetings virtually so that we can get the work done and be able to accept the grants on a timely basis and get the funds out the door and spent in the appropriate manner.
Co-chair.
That'll be fine.
Thank you, Senator. Make several motions. I will make a motion that we approve the sections called new section XXX that relates to the tobacco fund as written and presented. That is 116A. I also motion to approve new epilogue section XXX. That is 117A. That moves the $290,000 to the Office of Controller General from University of Delaware as written and submitted. I also motion that we approve the new epilogue one-time items 124A as written and submitted. And also that we approve the new epilogue under the executive referring to Delaware State Clearinghouse 127A as written and presented in the motion.
Second. Moved and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? All those, okay, Lonnie, can you call the roll?
Representative Bolden? Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis? Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that passed unanimously. Michael?
I apologize. I did not explain earlier, but the pages at the bottom are not random. If you were to put them in your book, this is where they were to go in the epilogue sections that you have in the notebook handed out on Tuesday. So I apologize for that. But section or page 127B is language that was included in the FY20 grant and aid epilogue. Indicates that it's the intent of the General Assembly to include a post-retirement increase in future years to the extent that's possible. So that we would continue to look at the issues surrounding pensioners, the erosion of pension benefits, inflation that's having an impact on their pension, et cetera. So this continues the epilogue language we had in the FY20 grant and aid bill. Next, section 111, we had already voted this in, but there is additional language that we wanted to include. This deals with an appropriation of $150,000 to the Sussex County Economic Development Business Incubator. The source of the funding would be interest earnings on the Delaware Strategic Fund. Next, page 142B, language for the World Trade Center. Again, this is identical language that was included in the FY20 grant and aid bill, indicating that the World Trade Center will work in consultation with the Delaware Prosperity Partnership and the Department of State and any other state offices to promote foreign trade and investment in the state. Next, page 159A, this deals with contact tracing positions at the Department of Health and Social Services. Given the pandemic and the speed with which we have to get this program up and running, DHSS is in the process of reclassifying existing positions that they have within the department. This allows them to go forward with that and can begin to hire before those reclasses may in fact be done because of the urgent nature of the program. It's only a 2-year limited term for which the positions will exist. And once those positions are no longer needed, they will revert back to the status that they're presently in and will become vacant positions to be used within DHSS, but would still have to go through any other critical reclasses if they were to be used for other than what their original intention was when they, as of right now, whatever their current classification is.
Okay, Mike, I think that's a good enough stretch. Mr. Coach, well, let's get a motion before us, please. Get a motion before us. Mr. Co-Chairman.
Thank you. I make a motion that we approve new epilogue language under the general tab regarding the post-retirement increase, page 127B, as written and presented. I also would like to make a motion that we approve revised section 111 within the Department of State, page 142A, as written and presented. I'd like to add the World Trade Center language from the fiscal year 20 grant and aid budget, page 142B, as written and presented. And finally, DHSS position language regarding the COVID-19 and the contact tracers, page 159A, as written and presented. End the motion.
Second. All right, we have a motion moved and seconded. Question on the motion. Senator Pardee.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question about the folks at DHSS would be hiring for the contact tracing. Would those be just current DHSS employees, or would they be drawing employees from other state agencies as well?
They are currently vacant positions, so they go through the regular hiring process. So they would not be, if existing DHSS employees wanted to apply for it, they could. But this would need outside people to apply for these positions.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I asked that page 159A be removed and voted on separately.
Would you?
I wish to amend my motion to reflect that the DHSS position language, page 159A, be stricken from the previous motion, and we will vote on that as a separate motion. And the motion.
The roll call on the motion, I believe.
On the first one.
On the first motion.
Representative Bolden? Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis? Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell? Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Just read the motion again.
Senator, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the DHSS position language, new section XXX, page 159A, as written and presented. End of motion. Second.
Question on the motion? Representative Briggs King.
Thank you. I just wanted to qualify. From my understanding, most of the contact tracing that will be done will be through a subcontractor. So
Mike, what is this?
the folks that are going to be doing the tracing will be not actually state employees, but subcontracted through the work. Am I correct?
Controller General Mike Jackson, OMB Director.
Controller General was a former life, Deputy Controller General. So Representative Briggs King, it's a good question. The contact tracing program is one that is going to be through a third party, and they are the individuals that will actually reach out to cases that are identified COVID-19 cases to be able to trace who that individual may have come in contact with. The positions that are associated with this language are going to be paid for through a federal grant, and they are basically case managers as well as epidemiologists on a limited term basis to help manage the overall program, including the contact tracing contract itself, of which the contact tracing contract should be paid for through a separate pot of federal money through the Coronavirus Relief Fund. So there isn't state funding that's involved in this, and that's another one of the reasons why we're using existing positions, but B, putting the language in to show that it's a limited term approach based on how long we think this will potentially last.
Thank you. And just know that even before COVID, there was a certain amount of contact tracing that went on in the state for communicable diseases. And I thought we were short on that from the very beginning. I didn't think we had adequate staff to do some of what already was being done. And so this is just really changing some current employees, or maybe perhaps adding a few positions, doing some shifting, but they're all the contact tracing that will be done related to COVID will not be state employees, but will be contracted through the agency. That's, I think, what I just heard.
Correct. These positions are more of the case management side.
Representative Jakes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Don't we have about 100+ guardsmen trained in this?
We do, and that will be winding down for this to occur. That was only a short-term solution until this was able to get up and running.
Thank you.
Mr. Co-Chair.
Just a comment, because obviously when we were reviewing this language, we wanted to make sure the point was that this is for temporary, meaning current reaction to what is going on now, and that those positions would not then all of a sudden be seen in future budgets as now, if you want to say growing government, they will be coming off the rolls. And if any individual is a good employee, then they'll have the ability to then look for one of the vacant positions, because there are always vacant positions within the state government. So this is specifically for just the COVID-19 response.
Representative Bolden?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So when this federal funds runs out, what will we pick up? Will the state pick up the cost then for these positions, or they're just eliminated altogether?
Correct. It's all tied to the federal funding that is available. And in essence, those positions will no longer exist once it's completed.
So if the, because I know it's a certain amount of money that's been allocated thus far, and we're looking at the fact that this may get worse going into the fall months. So will we bring back these contract people, or will we use the people we have that's in these positions now? I'm just kind of confused, because I remember when we got drug money some time ago to the war on drugs. When that ran out, then the states were locked in having to support and pay for those programs. So I'm wondering, is this some kind of way the same thing may reoccur?
The positions, this authorizes them to ramp up, and those positions will be here in the fall and will be paid through federal money that is still available through, at this point in time, still the end of the year. So the end
Even if it runs out?
we don't, at this point in time, don't project it to run out based off of what we've got available and who we're hiring. So.
Okay.
Let me just ask a question. I don't know whether co-chairman wants to answer this or not, but you know, in one of the things that was an issue early on in this pandemic was the lack of what are they called? Aerators. That's not the right word. Respirators at the right place at the right time. And so what has happened, there's been a lending program, because this epidemic rises up at different levels at different places at different times. And I wonder if there's any need to make some kind of an agreement that if we have ones we no longer need, let's say in September, would it be prudent to allow some of those to be loaned out to a state that had a dire need? Is there any of that conversation going on anywhere?
Mike Jackson raised his hand to respond.
So Senator, that's a good question. We are in a regional partnership with New Jersey, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania. There may be another state or two in there where we are looking at regional purchasing as well as sharing based upon which direction the virus goes in the future. And that was done by agreement amongst the governors of those states.
Senator Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My concern with this is, first of all, with the contact tracing, it's a matter of time till we all are quarantined for 14 days. Heretofore, we quarantined the ill and didn't lock down the well. Now with this, everyone is going to be tested sooner or later. Everyone will be facing a 14-day quarantine. No matter how far we think we're removed from it, we're not. And so I have real problems with the contact tracing being expanded to this point. I think that there's reason for it, was reason for it when it was passed. And I think there's good reason for it today to go after those that are ill and making sure that they are safe and that our elderly are safe. But I think that this has been expanded to the point that the entire state of Delaware, sooner or later, will be quarantined for 14 days. So I think this testing is bizarre. I think it's gone way afield. And I think we're running from a bug that has been with us for a long, long time and will be with us for a long time. Yes, there's been fatalities, but there's been fatalities to the flu and every other disease that has come along. And I think this is overreaction and overreach, and I don't think that we need to go forward with this. I understand switching the positions around. I get that, but I guess this is my little form of protest, if you will. And I think that we're making a major mistake in the state by trying to ultimately test everyone to no avail, to no end. So that's my concern, and I will be voting no.
Any further questions on the motion before us? Seeing none, all those in, let's have a roll call, Lonnie.
Representative Bolden? Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis? Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, no. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
No.
Senator Richardson, no. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 10 yes, 2 no.
Sufficient number of votes to pass JFC. University of Delaware is here, so we will ask if they can come in and join us. Do they know, we're seating them up front, is that right? Welcome, welcome folks to enter the chamber, if you will. How are we going to do this, Mike? Is Mr. Long present? Mr. Long, welcome. How many people do you have with you, Mr. Long? I think we're arranging a mic for you.
That's okay.
Welcome, Mr. Long. If you're more comfortable, I think that we're basically 6 feet separated here. So if you would like to remove your, it's up to you, sir. Do you have an opening statement?
How about if I?
Let me ask my co-chair. We want to put some parameters on this because we've got a lot of work to do. So our co-chair is going to read in the purpose for your visit.
Thank you very much. I think that what we would like to do is have it more in this format. During our discussions, for those that are in attendance, the joint finance members had some questions and concerns as it pertained to the funding that is appropriated to the University of Delaware, and then the audit that is done on those funds. And so because there were several members that have questions, what I was proposed is that I read to you what is currently stated in the code as provided to me by the Attorney General's office. And then those individuals that had questions could then perhaps, if they wish to ask a specific question from the University of Delaware, or if they wish to ask a particular question from the auditor, then we can do that and then have your questions answered. At the end, we will obviously then make a determination if that is something that can be handled in the budget, if there is a request, or whether or not it's something that should be addressed in normal legislative process with a bill, committee hearings, and debated amongst everyone else. So with that, what we will do is I will read to you what was sent to me again by the Attorney General's office. It says relevant statute is 29 Delaware C 2906H, which reads as follows. The auditor of accounts shall conduct audits of the state-funded portion of the finances of the University of Delaware as authorized by, gives the code number of Title 5109 of Title 14. The contractor conducting the audit shall be selected jointly by the University of Delaware and the auditor of accounts. Under that, which all of you have a copy, is then something that was written by the AG's office. As you can see from the highlighted portion, the statute instructs that the auditor of accounts audits are for the state-funded portion of UD's finances. They read that to mean that the auditor may not audit the non-state funded portion of the UD program. And that is at least what is written currently in code. So those members that have questions, obviously the senator will call on you for that at this point. I don't think that necessarily each group should testify or have a testimony. That's not what the purpose of this is. Specific members had questions. So, Senator.
Okay, would you like to make a brief statement, Mr. Long? Just a short, and then we'll get to questions.
On behalf of the university, I'd like to take this opportunity to respond to the questions you raised during the Joint Finance Committee meeting on June 3rd, 2020. Again? Yes. On behalf of the university, I'd like to take this opportunity to respond to the questions you raised during the Joint Finance Committee meeting on June 3rd, 2020. I've been before you all before. I introduced myself at that point. I will reiterate, I'm a pretty simple guy. I'm an Air Force colonel. I've lived my life on integrity and ethics, and I will do so before this committee as I've done my whole life.
Thank you, Mr. Long. If we can go then to questions. You have, I see by your letter you sent, you've outlined answers to questions, but it's better maybe if we get our committee to ask the questions. They may have been able to drop some and shorten up the process a little bit. So members of and Mr. Long can answer those questions. Senator Pardee.
Well, it seems that, let me get these earplugs out. It's tough to talk when the earplugs are in. Just from what we received from the state auditor and from the university, it appears that we are really trying to focus on the issue of this audit today. To me, it's always been much greater. There's a much greater issues than just the audit. I think there is the issue of in-state enrollment, the issue of the lack of diversity on the University of Delaware campus, and this idea that the University of Delaware is a public institution and should be treated as such, that it is a state agency. That was settled law in 1950. And yet we have letters that have been sent from the university, signed by the college president, by the president of the board of trustees, by their attorney, making this case that they are essentially a private corporation. And that's wrong. That has been decided in 1950 by the Court of Chancery. And I don't even understand why we continue to have this ongoing debate about whether they're a public or private institution. I mean, certainly that issue is related to the audit, but it's just incredible the fact that a year and a half has gone by where our state auditor and the University of Delaware are arguing back and forth about what can be audited and how it's going to be audited and who's going to be audited. It's just ridiculous. It's nonsense. And the taxpayers of this state deserve more. And I've given this a lot of thought, over the last couple days, and thinking back to, some of my statements back in January when the University of Delaware came before this body then. And this is really more of a statement than a question. This is what I think should happen, okay? I think that the University of Delaware should immediately develop and submit a plan to the governor and the Delaware General Assembly to increase the undergraduate in-state enrollment on the Newark campus to a level that is equal to at least 50% of the entire Newark campus undergraduate student body by 2025, and at least 60% by 2030. And the plan should not require an increase in state funding or tuition increases for in-state students that is above the tuition and fees component of the Consumer Price Index. Number two, a commitment that by 2025, the diversity of the undergraduate population on the Newark campus will be truly reflective of the racial diversity of our state, thus providing more opportunities for African American, Hispanic, Native American, and other minority students. Three, a simple statement that the university should provide a simple statement that the university acknowledges and accepts the 1950 decision of Collins J. Seitz, who is widely considered one of Delaware's all-time greatest judges, and his decision in the Parker et al. Versus University of Delaware, in his opinion, where he stated, beyond any reasonable doubt, under common law tests, the state of Delaware has created a state agency at the university. And number four, submit to routine auditing by the staff of the Office of the State Auditor, as other state agencies are required to do. I just can't believe that we're having this this kind of discussion today. These are issues that should have been resolved, that in my mind were resolved in 1950, and here we are, 70 years later, debating whether or not the taxpayers of Delaware have a right to know how the state university is spending its money. It's just crazy. And to me, really the only tool that we have at our disposal to correct this is by withholding money from the University of Delaware. Now, of course, I would not want to do anything that would in any way interfere or hurt any Delaware residents who are currently students at the University of Delaware. But we have a lot of needs in education in this state. We, my gosh, we have school districts in the city of Wilmington that have inferior facilities to other school districts throughout our state. We have two other fine higher education institutions in Del Tech and Delaware State University that could certainly use more funding, and in my mind are a much better value to the Delaware taxpayer. And I would just like to see the University of Delaware start acting like the University of Delaware. With that, You know, if any of my colleagues here have any questions specifically about the audit, you know, that's fine. But to me, that's really just one of 4 issues that the University of Delaware needs to address. Thank you.
Senator Pardee, we'll have the auditor up second today and go from there. But let me just see if I can summarize a little bit. I think the first 2 questions that were put before you here were, do you have a plan and do you have a plan? So do you have a plan for the out-of-state ratio to students, and do you have a plan for more racial disparity? Those are fairly easily dealt with, I think. And so do you have a plan?
I apologize. He does need, I'm sorry, Mr. Long, you need to just announce your name and your position for the record so people know who's talking.
John Long, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, University of Delaware. Senator, I'm not prepared to answer those questions. I can speak briefly. I came prepared to answer the 4 questions that at 5 o'clock last night I received. We do have a plan, and we do quite a bit of recruiting in-state and out-of-state. I will say as the answers to the questions are there, specifically about scholarships, I'm not going to get into the debate whether the information stated today is accurate or inaccurate. What I can tell you is the state provided $11,542,800 for scholarships for Delawareans. The University of Delaware spent $17,870,689 to support those 6,649 Delawareans. That money did not come from the state. That came from the tuition. Matter of fact, that money probably came from the out-of-state residents, who, because we have out-of-state students, can provide a reasonable priced education for Delawareans.
Please unmute VP Long.
Senator Sturgeon, you have a question? Did you have a question, Senator?
Was Mr. Long finished speaking, because he suddenly went out and I noticed he was on mute. So I was asking you all to, if the technical professionals could unmute him.
He's speaking.
No, Senator, I was done.
You were done. Okay.
And
We'll see if there are any further questions. Representative Briggs King.
Thank you. Just for the record, if I may, because there's been correspondence that we've received back and forth, and that, as far as I know, isn't on the record or being recorded today. And one of our concerns comes back to about the auditing as to where we are with the auditing of state funds, and particularly in relationship to the P cards. So if you could explain that for me. So I've read it, but I'd like it explained maybe so that it appears in the record.
Certainly. Well, first, I want to clear up the misnomer. We don't have a P card. It's not a state card. It's an individual merchant agreement. That's not with the state. It's not a state credit card. It's a private credit card. I think as I walk through this, we have been, and the senator is correct, we have been debating this for months as to legality of the audit with the state audit executive following our charter. On March 2nd, we finally signed the MOU with the state auditor, which described how the state auditor would conduct an audit of the state-funded portion of the finances of the university in compliance with Delaware law. On April 3rd, 2020, the university responded to the state auditor on question posed by a firm responding to the published RFP, request for proposal. And as was stated previously with the AG's opinion, and is stated, I believe, in the charter, that firm is co-selected by the audit executive as well as the university. On May 14th, 2020, the university participated in a Zoom meeting of the RFP Evaluation Committee, which was organized by the state auditor's office and included 3 representatives from the university, our audit executive, Kirk Dye, our CFO, Greg Oler, and our controller, Amy Connell, and 3 representatives from the state auditor, Dawn Ha Young, Laura Horsey, and Matt Zolper. I hope I pronounced your names correctly. The Zoom meeting lasted approximately 20 minutes, and at the conclusion, the evaluation committee selected Gunnup and Company Incorporated to conduct the audit. Representatives from the state auditor informed the university that once the state auditor finalizes a contract with Gunnup, the university would be contacted by Gunnup to get the audit started. As of today, which I will say that was yesterday, I don't know what's happened since last night and today, the university has not heard from either Gunnup or the state auditor.
Follow-up question, if I may. Thank you. Just as a follow-up, what percentage of the annual budget for UD comes from public and contributions from state taxpayers?
Approximately 10% of the budget is state funded.
And if you could, maybe the allocation of your other 90%.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, if only 10% of the funding for the university comes from the state, what would be the allocation of the other?
The other funds are primarily derived from tuition and from earnings from the endowment, which are, again, those earnings from the endowment are used for scholarship. When I mentioned the state provided, let me get my number, $11,542,800 for scholarship, although we funded $17,870,689, that's where those dollars get made up, primarily from the endowment and as well as some tuition from out-of-state students.
Are there further questions from the committee? Senator Ennis. Senator Ennis?
Okay, you hear me now. Mr. Lyons, can you hear me all right? Okay, can you hear me?
Can't hear you, Bruce.
Ready? Can you hear me now, Mr. Chairman?
I hear you, sir.
Okay. You have to hold it down.
Hold it.
Okay, we'll hold the button down. Mr. Lyons testified that they do not have a P card, but they use a credit card. I guess my question to him is the credit card funded by any state funds or is it non-state funds?
Credit card is non-state funds. And when I use the term P card, I use that in comparison. I've heard Del Tech and Del State's names thrown out as state agencies or partial state agencies. I believe, and I'm not the expert on that, they do have a state credit card. We do not have a state credit card, and state funds are not expensed on that credit card.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hold it. I got it, okay. Mr. Long, it seems to me on the issue of the auditing that you were in compliance, but for the signing of the contract which you have signed. Is that correct?
The contract hasn't been signed because that's a contract between the state and the audit firm. We're paying for the audit, as we've done for the last 10 years, and post our audit by KPMG on our website. But the auditor executive will actually sign that contract, and that will be a contract between the state of Delaware and the audit agency. We've agreed on the terms, we've agreed on the scope, and we've agreed on the firm. But the contract, the actual inking of that is in the auditor's court.
So as soon as that happens, you will be in compliance? with the.
I would, at that point, the audit can proceed and we will be in complete compliance. Now, the audit won't be done. It'll be the first phase of it, but we will be in compliance as we believe we have been all along. We've never refuted the fact to come audit the state dollars ever. And I think I sent this, I've got copies of it, letters back in February to correct the record when it was stated that we refused to comply with the audit. We've never refused. We've just said state dollars are auditable and we certainly will have that audit.
And that's, I believe, I'm correct, members can correct me if I am wrong, that that's what we're here to determine today. And so we have heard you on that by letter and now in person. And so we'll pursue. I'd just like to add, some of the questions have been off the scope of, are you in compliance with the need to have an audit? And so I would suggest we would simply ask about those things. You have stated you do have a plan for the two first issues that were brought up by Senator Pardee. So I would just suggest that you submit that to us. We have other work to do, so we will look at that, but that's not why we have asked you to come here. But if you'd like,
quite frankly, I'm not an expert on enrollment management.
Yeah, good. Senator, Representative Bolden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I understand that we are here to down, unmute, mute. Can you hear now?
Good, you're good.
Okay. Understand that we're here basically to address the audit, but I did receive an email, which I asked you earlier if I was able to make a comment on or even to read in, because I know state funds are allocated to all of our universities and they take in as well as the citizens of the state of Delaware. This particular email that I've received comes from concerned students at UD regarding lack of diversity. It says students have asked and expressed the university to implement a plan of action to address the lack of representation among professors, lack of transparency concerning situations between Black students and the university's police department, as well as addressing the need for additional resources to ensure the success of Black students. Many students feel that the university operates on a say something, do nothing philosophy. The Black students at UD have been subjected to discrimination as well as being disregarded by the empty promises of the current president. Black students are fearful as there are no repercussions for those who participate in true hateful language and racist rhetoric. Moreover, Black students do not share the same pride of being a blue hen compared to our white counterparts due to the lack of support emotionally and academically. And it says, please note evidence of students' harassment and racist rhetoric from those who attend the university have been sent to members of the Black Legislative Caucus for further investigation. And as a member and founder of the Black Caucus, I feel that this is necessary to read into the record. But I will reiterate that I am here basically to address the audit. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Bolden. I think it was, given the circumstances of time, I think it was appropriate you read that in. However, we're here to deal with the issue of financial audit. So if there are any further questions by members of the committee, Representative Jakes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know that you wanted to address the audit, but I actually want to thank Mr. Long for coming. But earlier when President Hassan testified before this committee, I asked him the standard question I asked every president of every university. And what percentage of Delaware residents attend their university? He said 39%. When questioned why that was so low, he kind of indicated that maybe our students didn't measure up. He has since walked that back. So I hope, Mr. Long, when you go back, you tell Mr. Hassan, President Hassan, that I will be asking that same question next year, and I hope he has a better answer. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Can't hear you.
I think it's, can you hear me now? So, Mr. Long, we're going to ask if the auditor would come up and tell us her version of things, and then we'll try to go from there. I want to thank you for coming today, and feel free to submit in writing any further testimony you feel necessary. We may give you a chance if you want later too. So, Madam Auditor,
Thank you, Senator.
are you ready? And have we got a place
Shouldn't they
for the
write it
auditor?
down before somebody else comes here?
Okay.
Shouldn't that be wiped down before somebody else goes there? See? Oh, okay, right over here.
Welcome, Madam Auditor. Are you, do they have a mic for you? I hope
Yes,
Good.
thank you for
it
inviting me.
works too. Well, I think you've heard some of the testimony. You're aware of some of the things that have been done in writing. I just at this time like to turn the floor over to you to enlighten us.
So very quickly, when I took office, as I've stated, I tried to go through items that had not been audited or engagements that had not been performed. But we did have a hotline tip. So we decided to look at 3 of the higher ed institutions that take state money: Del Tech, Del State, University of Delaware. We wanted to do one engagement. The long story short is Del Tech allowed us in. We did our engagement. Del State did, and they had some findings, but I'm proud to say they've immediately already implemented some of the controls and are seeing a positive difference. So this is a good thing, and this is why we're here. Originally, University of Delaware would not let us do the P card last year. I believe it was in the spring. They stated because some of the monies, it was only like 10% of state monies went towards the P card. This is totally independent of the financial statement joint audit. So we had 2 conversations going simultaneously for over a year and a half. I believe we're getting close to being able to do the joint audit, which we have never been a part of. They have done an audit. They have used recently, I guess in the past 10 years, KPMG that they have contracted with and controlled the narrative and posted on their site. That's not an independent audit reporting to us, that's reporting to the Board of Trustees. So we have to remember what we're doing. So that lane is happening, and I'm proud to say I think we're going to be able to correct that together with jointly selected. We each had 3 seats at the table. I was not a part of it, but to get an outside firm to move forward. That's separate. That's what should have been done for decades. It has not been done. So it's a new day. As far as the P card or any other state monies, we would like the opportunity, just like we are with other people that accept or collect state monies, especially when it's millions of dollars of state tax dollars, The folks that are coming to me and complaining, and I get a lot of complaints, are we just want to know how it's spent. We want you to be able to have the opportunity, regardless if it's University of Delaware or anyone else. It's state money. You want to take state money, you should be able to look at it. That is where we are. We want to be helpful. We think that there's a real opportunity. And as you know, I audited my own office and had 58 findings, which I don't think anyone ever has in the state. And I put it out there and I'm working to correct my office. So I don't think anyone should be afraid of the auditor. They should welcome the help because, and especially in these times of a budget crisis, people want to know their money's being spent the way it's intended. I know that yesterday when I was listening in, many of you talked about redecorating a mansion. I have no access to that if I can't go in and do an audit. This is separate from the financial statement audit, which I do believe we're going to get somewhere. I also hope in the future, if we need to look at funds, that we are not, there is an interference and we can do it in a timely manner. I also want to say that one of the sticklers for doing the P card audit, we were also told is you'd have to jointly select the firm. We believe that only is in 2906, which refers to the financial statement audit, which is out there. And if you look at 5109, I believe, and you read that section trumps the rest of the code. And we would only be interested in looking at the state funds. However, the General Assembly also has written in there, in the event that funds are commingled, then all bets are off. So if we would really appreciate further clarification and maybe some language, but at the end of the day, especially in our budget crisis, we just want to be able to do our job and not get blocked. We want to be able to be helpful and work together. Every other entity we have worked with has been wonderful and welcoming and actually taken our recommendations, and we're really excited for that.
Questions by committee, Mr. Co-Chair. Senator Pardee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. While the auditor was speaking, I went back and was rereading the letter that we received from Mr. Long, who just spoke before us, and this is probably a question I should have asked him had I thought of it at the moment. And gosh, it's such an issue to get somebody back, up in front of the computer to testify with all the disinfecting that has to go on. But maybe he would like to answer this question. But I'm going to ask this question to the auditor. So in this letter that he sent, in the very last sentence of the letter, it says transactions made with the university's procurement card are only paid with state dollars after a determination is made that charge relates to a state purpose code. And I'm just curious as to who makes that determination as to whether the expenditure is truly for the state, and whether the auditor has the ability to review those types of decisions as to, if state money is being spent, and as far as I can tell from this letter, I don't think the state really has any oversight in determining whether or not an expenditure is truly in the state's interest or not. So I guess my question to the auditor is, do you have the ability to review the expenditures that are made with the procurement card that are then in turn being paid by, using state funds?
Well, I know that probably about 10 years ago, there used to be epilogue language that was removed that actually showed what the state funds were supposed to be spent for in University of Delaware. I can't speak to why, but as far as the P card, no. We actually, when we do an audit and you are using different entities, we want to be able to make sure everybody's treated exactly the same and the controls are the same and the information is gathered the same and the questions are the same. That's all we were trying to do with that particular engagement. No, we do not look at their state funds.
Are you are you aware of there being a list of what appropriate expenditures would be for state purchases? Because as I understand it, state money is being used to pay the monthly bill or a portion of the monthly bill that comes with the statement from the card provider. But apparently there's no oversight from the state to determine which charges are appropriate to pay off with state money as opposed to which charges should be paid off with money that comes from other sources. So there really is no state oversight of that process to determine which charges are appropriate.
To my knowledge, that's correct. There are codes. There's the BAM. So there's certain things that we're supposed to be allowed to charge on. There's guidelines. There's acceptable vendors. We know all of those parameters, and each agency has their policy and procedure, and they should be following what they are allowed and not allowed to do. But I can't speak to the University of Delaware. I can't confirm or deny because I was not allowed to even get in to do this one engagement.
Thank you.
Further questions by the committee? Further questions by the committee? Senator Ennis?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'll try it again. Can you?
I hear you.
My question for the state auditor is, you heard the statement that apparently there had been a negotiation through a letter to agree to auditor, and they were waiting for your signature on the letter. Are you familiar with that letter or that correspondence?
Yes, so we had an MOU. Again, this has all been, an MOU. We had an agreement, and then we put this out to an RFP because we were told we were not allowed to do this audit, even though you all are paying tax dollars and we have a very competent staff, and we would have liked to, but we have to jointly select. So we did what we were supposed to do. There were two entities that came in. They had 3 seats to judge. We had 3 seats to judge. And it's my understanding that the University of Delaware did not care to do the technical scoring and left it up to the auditor's office. So now my concern, after just finding that out hours ago, is number one, that was against what we agreed on because we're both supposed to participate. And now is it really jointly selected? So I sent that over to my DAG to say, is this legitimate? Or do we need a letter that they forwent participation in the technical selection? And is it truly a joint audit? It's a lot of arguing. We just want to be able to look at the state dollars and have that ability.
Thank you.
Are there further questions by the committee? Kathy, let me just see, or Madam Auditor. So I'm a little bit confused on the dates. I have a letter here that says that the date was May 14th. And I think at that meeting, it was decided to, it looks like it was selecting, is it Gun Up? Was selected. And what more is needed to move forward than that?
It's my understanding that although there were 6 participants, 3 from University of Delaware and 3 from the auditor's office, that the 3 from the University of Delaware decided not to technically score, which was the whole reason we had to have an MOU, to have a seat at the table and define the parameters. So because of that, I have that over into my DAG to say, is this truly jointly selecting because they decided to say, pick who you want. I'm not sure why we went through this entire exercise and thousands of state tax dollars over a year and a half just to jointly select and then have non-participation? Is it truly jointly selecting? Once we can get a ruling there, we could potentially move forward for the one financial statement joint audit that we have not participated in. They have not had an independent audit or oversight from the state of Delaware. It does not solve the other question that we are asking, are we able to audit state monies in the event we have a hotline tip or decide we'd like to do an audit?
Hadn't been unlet.
Yeah.
If you, so if you didn't, they didn't participate in the joint selection, that would mean you get the choice you want, wouldn't it?
I've been back and forth for 1.5 years with this. So all of a sudden, I don't know. If you all are going to make that ruling that now I do not need to jointly select, let me know and I will go about my business and start looking at state funds when deemed needed or requested.
Representative Co-Chair.
Try to sum things up. Is this process with the University of Delaware different than the process with Deltec and Del State?
As far as with
Their entire audit process?
Yes.
Yes. So if we wish to make it identical, then we as members will have to create a piece of legislation and submit it and run it through the process. At that point in time, which University of Delaware doesn't have to say this, because we heard that it's only 10% of their overall budget, they could then make the determination whether or not they want state money or not, and whether or not they wish to continue to provide scholarships to the state or not. And they would be able to debate that, obviously, at that time. But I think that this conversation has come to a conclusion. We have heard all the information that is there. We are now, with the pleasure, because I am the co-chair, going to move on and take a vote on the University of Delaware's funding. If you do not wish to vote yes, then vote no. Thank you.
Well, I think I agree with the co-chair that we need to move on to serious business that we've got to complete today. And I just ask if you have a final statement to make.
I would like to thank you all for at least inviting me and listening to and understand what I've been going through for 1.5 years. We want to be partners. We've partnered with many state agencies to be able to be helpful. We just want to do what the public wants us to do and be able to have access to be able to audit the state monies and make sure they're spended the way they were intended. That's it. Not a gotcha. We want to be help. We want to, if there's findings, we want to make recommendations and move on. That's it.
All right. I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Mr. Long. Both of you are invited to, if you have further thoughts, to write, tell us what they are. Our interest predominantly is that the need to have the appropriate legal levels of auditing are complied with. Some other issues are maybe issues of the legislature, but they're not before this committee at this time. So thank you all for attending, and we'll take a 5-minute, very brief recess to disentangle and reform. I forget, muted. Okay, I'm muted. The committee will come back to order and we'll get back to business after all that, all the roll. So Mike, where are we starting off here? The way home?
Mr. Chairman, now, before we get to there, I will finish up section 1 after.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, before we proceed with the remainder of the epilogue, if we could go into our books and finish up section 1 after our University of Delaware discussion. If you go to the CGO markup adjustments tab, page 43, we need to vote in page 43, the University of Delaware, and page 44, the Delaware Geological Survey, and I will turn it over to Ruth Ann. In the CGO markup adjustment tab.
Does everybody have 43? Any problem? We ready to go? Okay. Mike?
All right, so on page 43, the University of Delaware, Department 900100, the governor's recommended budget included a total general fund budget amount to the university of $127,922,500. This document adjusts that number by reducing it by $2,465,000, which was an enhancement to the scholarship funding line. So this reduction brings the revised fiscal year 2021 total for the university to $125,457,500. On the next page for Delaware Geological Survey, the governor's budget for fiscal year 2021 came to a total general fund amount of $2,113,500. There are no adjustments to this budget, so it is final in the $2,113,500 total budget.
I believe we would make two different motions so that individuals can vote accordingly. So I will make a motion for the University of Delaware 90-01-00 that we approve section 1 as amended by the Comptroller General's Office markup document to reflect $125,457,500 in general fund spending authority.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and the chair would like to note that he okayed the single vote on this. I didn't have my mic on when I said that. So we have a motion made and seconded before us. Is there any questions on the motion? Can you call the roll?
Representative Bolden?
No.
Representative Bolden, no. Representative Briggs King?
No.
Representative Briggs King, no. Representative Carson?
Yeah.
Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
No.
Senator Ennis, could you repeat that, please?
No.
Did he say no? Senator Ennis, no. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson?
Yes.
Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
No.
Senator Pardee, no. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 8 yes, 4 no.
Let the record reflect that received sufficient number of votes to pass the JFC budget, and we'll move on to Geological Survey.
Senator, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Delaware Geological Survey 90-01-02, and that we approve section 1 as the amended by the Comptroller General's Office markup document that illustrates $2,113,500 in general fund spending authority. Motion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any question on the motion? All those, Lonnie, would you please call the roll?
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson?
Yes.
Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis? Yes. Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon? Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that passed unanimously. And Mike, Mr. General?
Okay. All right, we're going to pick up where we left off, page 164A. Department of Correction. We voted at section 185 in. We have a change or an addition here that we wanted a report on the program's activities and how funds are spent to be submitted to OMB, CGO, and the chairs of the Senate Corrections and Public Safety Committee and the House Corrections Committee. I'm on 164A. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if you can hear me,
Gotcha.
give you a brief on this issue.
Don't worry now.
Representative Minor Brown and myself are co-chairs, as you know, of the House and Senate Corrections Committee. As of June the 1st, the director of prison arts no longer, she resigned. She's no longer there. I think she quit. But in any event, there are a number of funds left in that account. And what we're doing with this epilogue language is to ensure that the prison arts program continues. And not only that, may be expanded to other locations other than James Delaware. So this epilogue language is just to monitor the progress of the prison arts program and report back to the general public.
Okay. If you're okay with that one, moving on, the next one is new language for Department of Corrections dealing with the way home. This allows them to continue their current reentry contract with the way home. They're the only provider in Sussex County. So this memorializes a contract which they already have in place. So, page 181A, two sections dealing with separate boards in the Department of Labor. The first one increases the per meeting pay for the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board, which meets approximately 80 times per year. The second one increases the pay for the Industrial Accident Board members. Members go from $22,700 to $24,000 and from $25,700 to $27,000 for the chairperson. If there are no questions, I'll move on to section 314, and many of these I will turn over to Ruth Ann. You want to take a break right there?
Mike, let me get a vote on where we were, all right, on the three.
Senator, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the my tongue's tied for a second, sorry about that. Amend epilogue section 185 under correction, 164A as presented and written. As well as the epilogue language under correction for the way home, 168A as written and presented. And then under the Department of Labor, section XXX, as well as another one under section XXX, which will be on page 181A. Those two deal with the different boards in regards to their compensation and the motion.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. Any question on the motion? Representative Jake.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification, in 314, we're changing the amount from 124, 235.1 to 121, 476.1. I'm usually not that far ahead of everybody.
Any further questions on the motion before? Okay, roll call.
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson?
Yes.
Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Mike Morton, it's yours.
Okay, we're going to continue with the remainder of the handouts here are education related. So I will turn these over to Ruth Ann, beginning with section 314.
Ruth Ann?
All right, section 314 is 3 pages, 203A, 203B, and 203C. And what this section has been updated to reflect is the section 1 amounts that you voted in yesterday. So this just amends the amount on line 6 on the first page to reflect the actual transportation appropriation amount. Then on the bottom of that page, subsection 2 is stricken. That talks about a pay increase. And then at the very end of this section on line 19 of 203C, this just states that it is the intent of the General Assembly that 1.789.2 shall be allocated in fiscal year 2022 to address the recommendations in the Public School Transportation Committee report. This is that administrative allowance phase in. So this just says we are putting the phase in on pause until the next fiscal year. The next item in your packet should be section 308, and this would replace the existing section on charter school transportation. This section would read, notwithstanding any other provision of the Delaware Code or this act to the contrary, all charter schools receiving a state transportation funding allocation shall submit an annual report of actual transportation expenditures of the prior fiscal year, including any negotiated contracts to the Department of Education. Upon request from a charter school, the Department of Education will determine the difference between state transportation funding allocation and the actual expenditures. If a net savings is demonstrated, the charter school may request to the Secretary of DOE, the Director of OMB, and the Controller General that the savings be used for educational purposes as allowable under the State Opportunity Fund.
Let's have a vote there, Mr. Co-Chair.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve section 314. That is 203A, 203B, 203C, as presented and written, and then that we adopt the replacement section 308 charter school transportation language, page 208A as written and presented. And the motion.
I have a second. I have a second. Moved and seconded. Motion before us. Are there any questions on the motion? Representative Jakes?
I just want for a record, sir, that 308 makes that all public schools are exactly treated the same. Thank
Is everybody in concurrence with that? Okay, we have that. Any further questions on the motion? Seeing none, Lonnie, would you please call the roll?
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
you. Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon? Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
What was the count? Let the record reflect that passed unanimously. Roseanne?
All right, the next section in your packet should be a revised section 342. This just makes some technical adjustments and updates the salary figures for the reduction amount for the plans that are required to be submitted by the LEAs. And then the next several new sections that are in your packet regarding education are in regards to the movement of the Office of Child Care Licensing from children, youth, and their families to the Department of Education. The first section just outlines their salaries, which will be added into Delaware code as all other Department of Education salary tables are. The next section on page 219B authorizes these positions within DOE and allows the incumbents to retain accrued vacation and sick leave balances. Section 2, or on page 219C, another new section. This again has to do with employment contracts and just brings in line the additional title for the additional code section that has been added in the previous sections for Office of Child Care Licensing. 219D is a new section, and what this does is amend the daily rate for substitute teacher amounts, and this is to update it in accordance with minimum wage requirements.
Senator, I would like to make a motion that we approve section 342, which is page 215A, as written and presented, that we then also approve new section XXX, deals with the Department of Education and the Office of Early Child Care Licensing, which is 219A, 219B, and 219C, as written and presented, and also then approve new section XXX, which is 219D, that deals with substitute teacher pay. End the motion.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded on these sections. Do we have any question on the motion? Representative Jakes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for my clarification, section 347, which was on hold, is not addressed, so that means it'll be deleted, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any further questions on the motion?
I'll just make one comment.
Mr. Co-Chair.
One of the initiatives that's been in work for quite a while is to be able to get the Department of Education and Office of Child Care Licensing merged together. The main reason is that if you look currently at the different guidelines and rules that apply to those different entities, they are vastly different, except for the fact that the kids are the same. So this is one step to make sure that it's uniform in what type of regulations are being created so that every entity that is educating our young children is on the same playing field as far as their requirements. So I'm pleased to see that this has been done. It's been long in the works.
Any further questions on the motion before us? Seeing none, Lonnie?
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Yes. Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Yes. Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12, yes.
Let the record reflect that's passed unanimously. And Ruth Ann?
Okay, the last two education sections in your packet. 219E is the page number at the bottom, new section XXX. This just says that funds received by charter schools from DOE associated with staff members who qualify for salary supplements, that those salary supplements must be passed on as pay to the employee. New section XXX on page 219F says that DOE school districts and charter schools may at their discretion allow annual leave accrued from June 30th, 2020 in excess of 42 days to be carried forward for up to 6 months beginning July 1st, 2020. And that completes the new epilogue sections for the Department of Education.
Okay, then Mr. Co-Chair, we'll just take a vote on those two.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that we approve new section XXX, which is page 219E, as well as new section XXX, page number 219F, as written and presented in the motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all the, Lonnie, would you call the roll?
Representative Bolden? Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Yes. Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon? Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12, yes.
Let the record reflect that passed unanimously. And Mr. Controller General, I have section 30 next. I don't know whether that's right.
Yeah, that would be one of our last votes. Bear with me, we only have a handful more. And these are all in your books that are on hold from the past couple of days. Our first one on hold is in the executive tab. Page 126, section 64. This dealt with the implementation of the senior property tax credit and the issue with it being means tested. We have reached out to the Department of Finance. They indicated that they could not do any means testing until their new tax account or tax revenue system is in place. They don't expect that to happen till at least FY22. So any means testing that we could develop, which would also require legislation, could not be implemented by them until FY22. And I believe that was your request, Representative Bolden? Okay, you're in the executive tab in your book, yes. That's correct. No, page 126. No. This is, again, section 64. It was on hold with the issue being why can we not means test the senior property tax credit? The issue here is Department of Finance would not be able to implement means testing until they have their tax revenue system up and running. They are currently in development of that system, and that system will not be available until at least FY22. That will be the earliest in which they could implement a means testing program, and would also require legislation. So you need to vote this in because it in fact lowers the amount of the tax credit to $400. So we need to retain the language as currently written.
I make a motion that we approve epilogue language identified as section 64 in the executive as written and presented in the motion.
Second.
Lonnie, we need a roll call.
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon? Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Record reflect that passed unanimously, and I have to apologize. I forgot to ask inquire questions, but I think we're safe on that one.
Okay, move next would be higher education tab. Near the end of the book, the entire section was placed on hold. I believe Ruth Ann did a description of it yesterday, but we placed it on hold. So I recommend all of it is boilerplate. I recommend adoption of sections 266 through 279. With the exception of section 268, that needs to be deleted. We've already voted that. That was money that was moved into my office. So if you would accept the remaining sections. Higher education tab, page 186 through 189.
Mr. Co-Chair,
I make a motion that we approve epilogue language in the higher education section, sections 266, 267, 269 through 279 as written and presented.
Second.
do I have a second? Second. Okay. Moved and seconded. Mike, is this the rest of this? This will all be in if we vote this in, right?
That is correct, with the exception of section 268.
Okay, Lonnie, call the roll. Right.
Representative Bolden? Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson?
Yes.
Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon? Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that passed unanimously.
Okay, next we go to the public, or excuse me, education tab. Page 191, section 286, we have a revision, and I will turn it over to Ruth Ann.
All right, page 191, section 286 is regarding pay supplements for national certifications. On subsection C, just need to make a technical change to insert after NBPTS certification, insert and other national certifications.
Where's that go again, Ruth Ann, please?
On line 19, section 286, after NBPTS certification, insert the words and other national certifications.
I make a motion that we approve section 286 with the amendment on line 19, NBPTS certification and other national certifications. The rest of the
Second.
remain the same. And a motion, we already have a second.
I should ask, are there any questions on the motion before us? Seeing none, Lonnie, please call the roll.
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that's passed unanimously.
Okay, next page 192, section 288 was voted in. We need a minor change on line 6, where it says shall be equal to 2%. That should be 0. This deals with the inflation factor for charter and choice payments. It's usually set equal to our pay raise. Since our pay raise is 0, the inflation factor will be 0% on line 6. Page 192, section 288.
Mike, have you got any more in this?
I will do it if we real quick flip to page 195. 195. On line, actually it's from the former page or section 300, but on line 12 there, you'll see underlined the dual generation literacy program. Those funds were reduced in yesterday's section 1 votes, so we need to take that line out of the epilogue. It is no longer funded. And section 301 is on hold. And we need to, on page 197, you will see underlined on there on line 2, Leadership Academy and Delaware Performance Appraisal System. That was additional funding which was added to this block grant. Again, that was reduced in yesterday's section 1 votes. So we need to take this out.
Like I didn't follow you. We're on page 197?
197, line 2. Everything underlined there was enhancement funding. That funding was cut yesterday in our section 1 vote, so we need to take this out. It is no longer funded.
go ahead and make a motion because otherwise I won't be able to keep up.
Yeah, please.
Section, make a motion that section 288, which was approved yesterday, that we on line 6 change the 2% to 0%. Make a motion that under section 300 on page 195, line 12, dual generation literacy program, the 160,000 eliminated. And then turning to.
I think we have to adjust the numbers, don't we?
No.
No?
No, because they're. Yep, and then in section 301, actually on page 197, line 2, where the Leadership Academy and Delaware Performance Appraisal System is underlined, we are actually deleting that entire section, that entire sentence that I just read. All the other portions of those remain written and as presented in the motion.
I have a second? Second. Good. Sentences are getting weak out there. A second. All right, Lonnie, can you call the roll?
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Yes. Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
All right, yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that's passed unanimously. Mike?
Okay, if you turn to page 201.
Can I ask a quick question?
Senator Pardee?
Yeah, on that last section, I just had a question or comment about the adult trade extension apprenticeship program. And I think a lot of us who represent areas in the lower 2 counties are concerned about there being sufficient resources for apprenticeship program requirements. Yeah, we had the legislation that we passed here a year ago regarding the necessity for contractors to have an apprenticeship program. And one of the, some of the pushback that we received from contractors in the lower part of the state is that there was not sufficient programs available through the adult education programs. And so I was just wondering whether, Mike or Mike might be able to kind of explain just quickly how that works. And I know we've already voted on that section, but I would like some kind of reassurance that we are working towards cultivating more apprenticeship opportunities in Kent and Sussex.
Mike, can you give us a brief on that?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Jackson on this one.
Okay. Mike Jackson.
Right. So, Senator, the issue you raised is with legislation passed, I think, over the last couple of sessions requiring apprenticeship programs and the availability of those apprenticeship programs in Kent and Sussex. This is something that, along with another issue, while not raised here, is one that we're going to continue to work on to be able to develop the availability of programs. So you're going to end up adopting what's called a continuing list in a couple of minutes, and our office will end up working with the downstate school districts, particularly both of the VOTECs, on trying to expand as best we can, at least through fiscal year 2021.
Thank you.
Satisfactory, Senator Pardee?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay. Mike Morton, we have some more.
Continuing on, page 201, section 312, the early childhood initiatives. Once again, the number here, the 39216, is before we made reductions yesterday. So the number there should really be 36216.6, identical to FY20. So we need to reflect that change. Then the next one I have is page 205, section 317. This section is on hold. It deals with the various unique hazards that we have throughout the state. We have a change in two places. On page 205, line 11, number 2, where it says students attending Mount Pleasant High School, we need to add and PS DuPont Middle School. That hazard now affects both of those walkers in both of those areas and those feeder patterns. And similarly, we need to change page 207, line 16, again, where it says Mount Pleasant High School, we would add and PS DuPont Middle School. That is line 207, or excuse me, page 207, line 16. After Mount Pleasant High School, you insert the words and PS DuPont Middle School. Line 16.
I'd like to make a motion in section 312 that we approve that language with the modified figure that the Controller General, 36 million and some change. In addition, moving over to section 317 on page 205, line 11, after Mount Pleasant High, adding PS DuPont, as well as adding PS DuPont Middle to page 207, line 16, after Mount Pleasant High. And the motion.
Okay, we have a second. Somebody get a second is heard. We have a motion. Get a any questions on the motion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call line?
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson?
Yes.
Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon? Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that's passed unanimously. Michael?
Yes. That was a new section we voted on a short while ago. Okay, just a couple more. We have on page 211, section 329 was on hold dealing with the seed allocation, seed appropriation. And I know there was some question about the eligibility criteria.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Recently it came to my attention that seed is only eligible to those students who apply for the fall semester immediately after graduation from high school. I would like to see that expanded for at least a year after graduation from high school, because I think we're losing a lot of good students who have to go to work in order to get the tuition in order to start school. I would like to see that changed or expanded to at least 1 year after graduating.
Senator, I'd like to address that. I understand what you're doing, and I sort of have mixed feelings. I know that the original we had a lot of statistics that said that the longer a person delays going to post high school, the less likely they are to go. And so we have that, which conflicts with the idea that you are correct. There are a lot of people who have reasons to personally benefit. I mean, they have a need to delay a year. As you say, I would hope if we do this, we at least eliminate it to a year. And I would suggest that we ask that it be sunsetted so we can take a look at the statistics somewhere down the line. I don't know whether that's appropriate or not, Mike, but so I'd like to hear from other members. Mr. Co-Chair?
Well, my understanding on this issue, and I certainly understand what the senators have to do, and I applaud it actually, but my understanding is that this has all been done through legislation, any changes, because ultimately a fiscal note would have to be created. We would have to prove it. While we're the budget body now, we don't know how much additional it may cost. What you're trying to do is capture additional students, correct? So there would be an addition. I don't know why you can't hear me. I mean, it would ultimately capture additional students, so therefore would have an added cost that we're not sure what that is at this moment without trying to get some data. So I believe that any other change like this has always been through legislation. Is that, anybody comment on that?
Election, but I'm not certain of it.
I believe that to be the case. Yes.
Senator Pardee?
Yeah, I just want to make a statement that I wholeheartedly agree with Senator Lawson in his intent. I think that's a wonderful idea, and I think that certainly is a reality for a lot of young people who just simply cannot afford to go to college right out of high school. And even our most recent former president of the United States, his eldest daughter took a year off before she went to college. So that is kind of a decision that a lot of young people make. But at the same time, I recognize that making a change like that is probably something that needs to be done through legislation, so that it could then go through through the normal process to determine what the costs of that would be. So I think that's a wonderful idea. It's something I would be very supportive of, but I certainly recognize that probably not something that we could do here today. Thank you.
I recognize the legislation requirement possibly, but the issue is we don't have any data. There's nothing available. There's been research done that nothing's out there because kids can't do it. So that's undeterminable at this time. We have to go back to legislation. That's one thing, but that's just laying it back. If we could move forward, I'd appreciate it, but if it has to be legislation, then we'll do that.
I'd just like to add to that, Mr. Chair, if I may. High school students who go immediately into the military or like the National Guard, they're away for a period of time for basic training and that, and then wants to come back and do their seed program. We should be able to extend that somehow.
I believe the military has a waiver, don't they? We went through that last year. All right, thank you. So it would be great if we could extend at least to those who are deciding how to do that.
Thank you. I wanted to add to my colleagues, because it's just not those that may go into the military. Sometimes some students will go to an out-of-state college or another college and then realize for whatever reason that they can't continue there. And so they come back to Delaware, and so they've lost the advantage of that seeds money too, because they didn't go directly into a program that was either more appropriate or one that they could afford. And so I think when we look at it and the whole purpose of, and Senator, you certainly know well, the intention of SEEDS was to keep people in high school and keep them doing well and to encourage them to go on. And so, looking at those numbers about how we can do that, because I do believe one of my colleagues, Representative Dukes, had introduced a piece of legislation to do that this year. And obviously we didn't get to move those things through. So I agree. It's something that we need to look at so that we can provide those students who either because of one reason or the other can't go directly into college upon graduation in June, that they don't lose that important benefit.
Okay, so, well, I was just going to tell you that I had a bill this year to make it third year. But when I was trying to get a deal with the University of Delaware to make them pay half of that third year. But I don't know whether we get that. I'm not going to be around to get that done. So I'll leave it up to the committee to decide. Yes, Mr. Co-Chair.
To add that, I too feel that it's a good thing, but to the point, and I agree with you, it's hard to say that what would the data be, but I think we would all agree we would have to presume that it would be more than what is currently taking advantage of the SEED scholarship. And if that is the case, if we all concede to that there would be more people, that equates to more money that right now in this moment we just don't have. So that's why that's my concern.
Representative Carson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I applaud the Senator for bringing this up. I think it's a great idea, but I think the Inspire program have all gone in here. Now, okay. Thank you. I applaud the Senator for bringing this up. I think it's a great idea, probably fabulous. But I think everything involved with SEED and Inspire has gone through the General Assembly. And I think that's the way it ought to be done now. I would be glad to co-sponsor the bill with you, but I think we should be consistent on it. Thank you.
Mr. Chair. Senator Lawson.
I withdraw the hold.
Okay, so noted. All right, Mike.
Okay, next one, opportunity fund routine. I lost my place. Yeah, do you want to vote on that? Yes.
339.
329.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion before us, I believe, for section 329 on page 211. It was on hold.
I don't think you did a motion. You just asked the question.
Oh, I haven't done a motion. I'm sorry. Mr. Co-Chair.
I make a motion that we approve epilogue language section 329 as written and presented. And the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call?
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis?
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes,
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
let the record reflect that that's passed unanimously. Did you hear that?
Yes, okay, last couple, Mr. Chairman, page 214, section 3, section. Oh, I'm sorry.
Representative Briggs King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just a little confused on something that, and I'm not sure my colleagues might have, maybe they did understand better than I. On page 219, see, we just did some new language in that section under education, and it refers to funds received by charter schools through Department of Education associated with staff, and it just says that the money shall be paid to the said employee. And many times in a charter school situation, they get a pot of money and they use that to pay as many educators as they can. And so it might not be for a specific person, but it would be divided. Let's say there's 45 teachers, and so rather than it goes into the pot that's divided among all of them. And so I'm just not sure my colleagues understood that or not, if I'm explaining right, but I'm a little confused and maybe wanted us to have a discussion about that.
Representative, I will take a stab at it. The issue there was those were payments for mentor stipends for which the individual teacher earned by doing additional work. And therefore, the idea was that that money should go directly to the employee that earned it rather than into a pool to be distributed among all the charter school employees. It was earned by them as for being a mentor, they get an additional stipend for that, and therefore they should receive the additional compensation.
Then I believe was confusion because I don't think it was for that there was an additional duty for that person, that it was just the way the funds would be distributed, that they had unfunded positions and that they paid for them from a pool or from that pot, and this would disrupt so that it would be some inequity among some of the staff positions.
Representative Briggs King, what number are you on?
I'm on 219E, where it's section XXX, funds received by charter schools through the Department of Education associated with staff members who qualify for supplements shall be paid to said employee.
Representative, maybe I can clarify that a little bit. The salary supplements that are referenced here are in regards to teachers or other professionals who have earned a national certification. So they are given a mentor stipend or supplement because they have achieved that national certification. So this just ensures that for those teachers or other related specialists in charter schools that have earned those national certifications, that stipend or supplement that is given to them is actually passed on to them.
Okay, thank you.
Wait a minute, Mike, on 329. That was, did we take it off hold?
Yes, 329 you approved. Okay, the next one is page 214, section 341 is on hold, dealing with the opportunity fund. Again, we need to vote this in. The changes are the numbers revert back to what is crossed out on lines 4 and 18 due to the reductions that we voted in yesterday. We were basically re-implementing the FY20 epilogue for this section. So we need a vote on that one. And then the last one we have in education is page 218, section 347. And understand that that is not going to be.
Right. Mr. Chair.
Mr. Jackson.
So we are, this was a section of epilogue that was included in the proposed budget. After speaking with Representative Jakes and Representative Carson around the audit piece of it, is that they would prefer to go through legislation. So we support that. I would suggest that this legislation not be voted in and allow the a bill to be run on the floor.
Are you saying to strike the section?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, are we referring to section 347 on page 218 that will be stricken?
That's correct.
Good, thank you.
And is that the last one I have, Ruth? Okay. So that's it.
Mike, before he makes his motion, I want to make sure I've got section 343 on hold. Page 2.
343 was voted in.
Mike Morton, can you repeat these sections that a motion?
Okay, on the motion for this one would be section 341.
I make a motion that section 341 be approved per the Controller General's edits and changes in the amount as presented. Page 214, motion and a motion.
Did we get a Representative Jakes? Okay, Lonnie, roll call.
Representative Bolden?
Yes.
Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King?
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson? Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis? Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley?
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes?
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson? Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee?
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson?
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon?
Yeah.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell?
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that's passed unanimously. And I would just say that besides voting in section 141, the numbers on line 4 and 18 revert to the original, which was crossed out in the copy. Okay?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, last one in your packet that was handed out. There should be one last little stack. That is 7 or 8 pages.
Representative Jakes?
I might have an error here, but I have 350 as on hold.
350, that was the expansion of the early childhood assistance program. That was, those monies were reduced yesterday, so we do not need to vote it in. It'll be left out. So again, the last vote here would be for the continuing list, typically our last vote. And then also, if you would entertain a motion to allow my office, my staff, the authority to make those minor changes that often crop up in putting the final document together. They are not of a policy nature of any sort. They are numbers adding or grammatical errors, those kind of things. So we typically ask for that authority to make those changes. I'm seeing
Mike, this list is section 30, is that right?
section 30. Yes, that is the continuing list. There's a continuing tab in your book. Yes. You can take that entire packet and put it in the continuing tab in your book. And that's.
I make a motion that we approve the section 30 continuing list that is presented, and that we also approve the ability of the Controller General's office that while they are putting together the finalized budget documents, that any edits, et cetera, that need to be made, that they have the authority to do that so that it ultimately makes sense for the intent of this committee. In the motion.
Second.
We have a motion before us, made and seconded. Is there any question on the motion? Gee, I'm going to miss this. Okay, Lonnie, can you please call the roll?
Representative Bolden. Representative Bolden, yes. Representative Briggs King.
Yes.
Representative Briggs King, yes. Representative Carson.
Yes.
Representative Carson, yes. Senator Ennis.
Yes.
Senator Ennis, yes. Representative Hensley.
Yes.
Representative Hensley, yes. Representative Jakes.
Yes.
Representative Jakes, yes. Senator Lawson.
Yes.
Senator Lawson, yes. Senator Pardee.
Yes.
Senator Pardee, yes. Senator Richardson.
Yes.
Senator Richardson, yes. Senator Sturgeon.
Yes.
Senator Sturgeon, yes. Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative Johnson, yes. Senator McDowell.
Yes.
Senator McDowell, yes. 12 yes.
Let the record reflect that passed unanimously. And has anybody found anything we've missed? Sure about that? What are you telling me?
Go ahead.
You good? Representative Carson.
Long time member and, should I say, captain of our team, I think we should all stand and give you a. Here we go. As a longtime member and I should say leader of our team, I think it would be appropriate to give you a standing round of applause for all you've accomplished.
Well, I'm going to just take a minute and turn the table on you. I don't know if I can hold this damn thing down and do this, but I have yeah, right. Now it tells me how to work the damn thing. I want to stand up for you guys. I mean, first of all, let me leave the committee for last. And I want to thank the staff that's helped us so much and has put everything together. And without which we couldn't do this. And that includes the legislative side and the executive side, Mike Jackson and his team and all of our team. It just is a well-oiled working machine. And this year, I think, proved it. I think we had one of the best markup sessions that I can remember. I think that we have a really good budget in spite of all the troubles that have come about. I think the governor is going to be very pleased. Lonnie, I want to single out especially because you did a marvelous job today and calling the roll. It's not an easy thing to do, believe it or not. To my co-chairman, he had a tough one. Oh, well, what? That had to happen. I'll have to call you right back, Frank. So, look, this is bittersweet. I mean, I don't know what I'm feeling now. It's only been 44 years. But my wife began her first day in retirement on Monday. And I am looking forward to spending a lot of time with her that I lost down here somewhere over those 44 years. And you, the finance committee, more than anything else, and its staff will be with me. I'm not rolling back here too often, but they'll be with me. Fun, forever and ever. You're great legislators, every one of you. And you've proven it. And if you ever really need to show it to anybody, show them this year's budget, because we can be proud of that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd also like to point out you've made history again. You're the only one from the Joint Finance Committee that's ever got an applause in the chamber.
Yeah, well, nice.
We're going to have the pleasure of being able to work with him just a little bit longer. We still have in the process, we are going to keep our fingers crossed that the June 17th DFAC meeting comes in flat, or if possible, any higher. We're all going to really hope and pray that it doesn't come in lower. And then in addition to that, once we're finalized for that, we definitely are going to meet again to be able to have the grant and aid portion of the budget and those last things adjusted. So we're going to have the honor and pleasure of having you once again, but I will say a couple quick words in that regard. So I suspect, don't know this for a fact, wait till he has another call.
That's not a call, that's a text.
But I think based off of my personality and your personality, that at the very beginning, there were probably some individuals that were wondering, just how is this team going to get together and work together? And are they going to be able to gel and mesh real good? Well, I have to admit that we've gelled and meshed wonderfully. I've had the extreme honor to be able to work side by side with you. It's an extreme pleasure to be able to learn from your wisdom and the years that you've had. You've brought a lot to the table. Can't thank you enough to be my co-chair and I be your co-chair. So with that, we got more days with.
We do. And Quinn, I'm glad you brought that up. I can't tell you how pleased I've been to work with you. And it has just been, it's gone so smoothly that you just almost take it for granted. Neither of us, I think, should do that. It's a shame. Last time. Hey, Teddy, what do you got to say? He's out there cooking. Hey, Teddy. Hey.
For those listening, the infamous Senator Trey Pardee has his sidekick with him, Teddy. So we have not another member technically of the hall. And we have Senator Sturgeon's at home with her.
Vina.
Is it Nina?
Vina was a V, V-I-N.
Gina.
Oh, she
Yeah,
just
all
barked
right.
at me.
Hey, Vina. All right.
Get them all howling.
Okay. Let's see. Almost seems like there ought to be more work to do. Michael Jackson?
Mike Jackson's about to give.
There we go. So just a couple, and I know we're not entirely done all of our work, but just want to thank all of the committee members. I think in a situation where a number of us have lived through a lot of the changes from mid-March to now, and where we ended up is just a great, I think, a great place of trying to build a bridge from fiscal year 2020 to 2022. But I think that the more important thing is just an affirmation of the process of our budgeting over the last couple of years. I think has allowed us to do this. And I think the ultimate affirmation of it is really, we went to a refinancing of our bonds and went back to hopefully get a reaffirmation of our AAA bond rating by our rating agencies. And that was reaffirmed today and by all of our rating agencies. And I think that this committee, while it's difficult work to do, the way we've conducted our work and you've conducted your work has really helped lead that. It's a positive message when you're able to tell your rating agencies, yes, we have a revenue shortfall. However, we have a savings account that we can draw on to be able to build the budget. So this is just a testament to that. And I thank all of you for working with us in that direction.
The meeting adjourned.
No, it's not adjourned yet. You can't go yet.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
That's all right. I'm tired of this bar. Tired of that darn bar. So God bless you all. God bless.